I've seen multiple people. So I spent a lot of this weekend watching CBS Sports, ESPN, all sorts of news. You'd be surprised how many people try to cop out of not saying this dude's name. It's amazing. So yeah, now the game is. I need to hear you say it. I need to hear everybody that I haven't heard say it. Say it.
Oh man, I've been practicing for 3 years.
Right.
Because remember, this show covers recruiting. Like, shout out to the homie Greg Biggins, who is regional analyst for 247 Sports, covered DJ Uiagalelei while he was at St. John Bosco. And he was butchering his name. So DJ's daddy sent him a voice text. It said, Greg, I'm tired of hearing you butcher my kid's name. Our name is Uiagalelei. Uiagalelei. Greg was kind enough to send me that recording 2 years ago. Because that's what it takes, right? Like in broadcast, 2 things that I will never take for granted and 2 things you absolutely have to get right. The first name and the last name.
It's the lowest bar to respect. But saying somebody's name right.
But then you'll find out people pronounce their names differently. Balake. Aaron. It ain't how you say it. That's where it gets trippy, right? It's not, yo man, Scott Banks, Scout Bonks.
My favorite. Oh, you the North Carolina's leading high school scorer. You talking about Jameis Curry? No. You've got it wrong. It's only 2 syllables, sir. It's James On.
Oh my God.
James On Curry. You remember that? Yeah.
Jameis Winston? What's your name? Jameis. It says, you know what? To hell with it. Jameis. Like, that's what you're doing. So, like, you're literally going with the SID if I hope. Like, this would be what I do. If I'm the play-by-play dude. I'll sit with the sports information director and I go line by line. Now, sometimes they're kind enough to put the phonetic spelling next to a name that they know is typically difficult to pronounce. But I would still do it. And I would want to practice in front of that person. And practice over and over again. And then there's the odd parent you're going to piss off. Like I've told this story before, I'm going to tell it again though. At Texas, the best wide receiver is Joshua Moore. A lot of us just shorten that to Josh Moore.
Mm-hmm.
His mama got on the tweets, and his mama said, my son's name is Joshua. It is not the book of Josh. It is the book of Joshua. It's a biblical name. Now,
if his mama called him Joshua, I'm going to call him Joshua.
So we got dudes that was going to try to test that, and they got lit up. Ain't nobody called that man Josh since that day. Because parents do get on the tweets or get in the text messages to be like, yo, man, my name is, and I'll be like, dog, that's my bad. Like, I was doing it with not just Uiagalelei. I'm trying to remember who else I was butchering. So I do this every night. Like, LSU, I got to practice. It's not a given. All right, Ron, my man's name is Damone.
D-O-A.
No, Damone. Damone. What's my man's name?
Yeah, the one. The one and only. The one.
Oh, my God.
The one who owns my heart.
My man's last name is Boutte. So, like, I'm reading Ed Orgeron's book that's ghostwritten by Bruce Feldman called Flip the Script. Okay? And it's got some names in here. And every now and again, I am grateful that Feldman takes the time to tell me how to pronounce LaFleuche. Because I would not have pronounced LaFleuche. I would have probably pronounced it something close to the LaFourche. Right? And then I had LSU fans coming down to make fun of me once again. It's like, I'm not from there, man. We call them counties. Y'all call them parishes.
I mean, it's tough. It's also, but like if you grew up from around there, this is now no longer a college football podcast. It's a name podcast.
Oh, I don't care.
But, right. I had this problem the last few years with Oregon because I'm looking over there at that quarterback, Justin Herbert, and I have to say it in my head 10 times before I hit that last name. It's like, oh, you mean Justin Hebert, right? Justin Hebert. I know I probably said this on Wax a few times. Like, man, that Hebert cat at Oregon, he's pretty mediocre.
So, Bobby Hebert is one of Ed Orgeron's all-time great friends.
Bobby Herbert?
See? And T-Bob Herbert, Hebert, is also a sports talk show host personality down there. So, like, I don't know, man. I got to wait for other people to say stuff before I say stuff, right? And I got to think that if you grow up in an Anglo-Saxon household, you don't know how to say anything ever. Because you ain't even got Shatad and Shatid in your family, right? You ain't got those folks in your family. All you got is Brian's and Lindsay's and Kate's and Melissa's. You don't have
I think it depends on where you fall on the class scale, because we could go ahead and pull up a lacrosse roster right now and you would see some names. We could go ahead and pull up the Rodu team at BYU and you would see some names, but not the names that you're talking about.
All right. So I need to tell you this story about Cortez Kennedy that Ed Orgeron told us. Okay. And I've read Ed Orgeron's book. I'm going to do segments about the book because there's cool stories in here, even as I know that he's holding back because these stories are watered down. Anyway, Cortez Kennedy is one of Ed Orgeron's favorite players. Played for him at Miami, right? Anyway, Cortez Kennedy goes on to become a Pro Football Hall of Famer, but he didn't start out that way. He got to Miami from junior college. And on the first day of camp, they're running 110s because it's part of their conditioning test, right? And he ran with the lineman at about 370. He beat everybody in the first sprint, and they get him like a month away from playing Florida State. And after the first 110 where he beat everybody, he is feeling himself. He's shouting woo. The second 110, he beat everybody again, and he told everybody that could hear him, we're going to whoop Florida State's ass. Okay. After the third 110, everybody was just in awe, dude, because he's still just roasting all these linemen at 370.